Well, 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 look who finally decided to sit down and make a video. By the way, look at this hair. look how out of the control this hair is getting. Look at it, it feels like I'm wearing a helmet. Look at it, look at it.
Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Well, here we are. Happy 2022, everybody. It feels odd to say considering it's like the end of January right now. I can't believe that it's been 7 weeks or something like that since the last time I made a video. It simultaneously doesn't feel like nearly that long ago and also feels like forever ago. So I don't know. I fully intended to make one more video before Christmas. I was going to dress up in my Santa Claus outfit like I did the Christmas before that, and I was going to make a fun, goofy Christmas video. Like, right, yeah, this guy right here, this thing. I was going to put that on again, and I was going to make a Santa Claus video. But most or all of you might know this already, but like right around Christmas time, a little bit before Christmas, we had a COVID rampage here in Casa de Cameron. Ethan, it was running through Ethan's school, and so his school shut down, but didn't shut down in time for him to have already brought it home with him. And we weren't just going to make him sit upstairs in his room by himself for 2 weeks or whatever, however long. So Melissa went up there with him, and of course she caught it too. And the only reason we were trying to stay separate in the first place within the same house, it's really difficult way to try to isolate from each other in the same house. The only reason we were even trying to do that is because we're trying to protect Dylan. Like, he's only 3. Like, if we can prevent the 3-year-old from getting it, I guess we probably should. So we tried to stay as separate as possible. And of course, even with all of our efforts toward the end of their isolation up there, Dylan ended up getting it anyway. Somehow I somehow didn't get it, although I was really sick. And I kind of don't believe my test results because I had every symptom that you can possibly imagine. I even lost my sense of taste and smell. I had all of the things, and I felt like shit for a couple of days. But all of my tests, including all 3 PCR tests, all kept coming back negative. So I don't know. Maybe I've got some sort of like crazy redhead gene that prevents me from getting infected. I don't know. But anyway, Ethan had it, Melissa had it, Dylan had it, and it made for not as fun of a December as we were hoping for, and I didn't have a chance to make my mid-December Christmas Santa Claus video, so that's why it's been so long. I know I always have an excuse, but I think that's a pretty legitimate excuse, don't you? All of this stuff did get me thinking. Now, I know this is going to sound a little bit too mystical and hippie-like for somebody as cynical as me, but don't worry, the bitchiness and the cynicism are not going anywhere. But I do want to say that I've been thinking about the last couple of years and how everybody like kind of agrees that 2020 was a complete dumpster fire. For me, 2021 was even worse than 2020. But when you think about, oh, it was such a horrible year and it's just like, oh, we want to just forget about it and like move on or whatever. But yeah, there were some bad things and some shitty things that happened in 2021. But there were also a lot of good things. So why do we have to look back and just say it was just a complete shit fest? It wasn't a complete shit fest. There were plenty of good things too. Why don't we remember and focus more on the good things? I know I'm going to sound very much like Oprah right now. It's just going to just drive me crazy. But hang on. I do very much believe that we can, to a certain degree, control the way we feel about a situation or a day or even a year based on our attitude. And if we have a more positive attitude, maybe we can make it a more positive year, because I'm sure some shitty things are going to happen in 2022. Also, some shitty things have already happened in 2022. We lost people of my generation anyway, lost one of our TV dads recently, Bob Saget. It's not off to a great start, but we don't have to completely focus on all those things and only remember those things. We can turn it around and we can take what happened last year and turn it into, this can be our rebound season. Like a baseball team who finishes in last place one year and comes back and wins the World Series the next year. This can be our rebound season. We can win the World Series this year if we just have a more positive attitude. And maybe I'm only talking about me, but this is what I intend to do. So I am going to try not to dwell on all of the negative things that happen and try not to forget about all of the positive things that happen. And I'm going to, as I've been walking around the house calling it, I'm going to Chris it up this year, and I'm going to turn this into the best year and the most positive year and the greatest year that I've had yet, because we're all gonna, what are we gonna do? We're gonna Chris it up. We're gonna Chris it up. We're gonna be more like Chris. We're all gonna be smiley, happy people, and we're gonna win the World Series this year, right? Who's with me? Chris it up. Okay, so on to more important things, onto the video. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I'm in a new spot again. The schools have been closed around here a lot more than they have been open. So a lot of people have been home a lot of the time. And I don't even remember the last time that I had the house all to myself. And I don't like to make these videos when people are home, because the spots that I normally sit in are kind of just out in the open. But because of that, because who knows when I'm ever gonna have the house to myself again, I made this little office area. I'm sitting at a desk right now in my bedroom. I made a little office area in my bedroom. The door's closed and locked. So I don't really care anymore who's home, because I can lock them out and I can close them out and I can soundproof them out and I can sit here and do whatever I want. So this should help with the, like, I can't use that as an excuse anymore to, you know, people are home so I can't make a video. I can make videos whenever I want now that I have a closed and a locked door. I'm here in my glorious bedroom. Look, that's my bed right behind me. Right there. Look, there's Maple. That's my bed. Where a lot of fun things have happened. A lot of fun things have happened right there in that bed. Let me tell you, a lot of fun things.
Dramatization.
What did you think I meant? So having this space is going to help a lot with getting back onto a more frequent video schedule, which is what I want to do. I don't think that I could sustain a Chris level pace of once a week, but I used to do once every 2 weeks, like regularly. For almost the entire year, I kept up a pace of once every 2 weeks, and I feel like I could get back to that again. And I really want to get back to that again. And I feel like having a space like this is going to help that, because that's what I want to do. When I go this long in between videos, 4, 5, 6, and now even 7 weeks, it just reminds, not only because I miss it and I miss you and I feel a little bit disconnected, but it highlights to all of you that you can survive and carry on just fine without me. And I can't have that. I can't have you thinking that you can get on just fine without me. No. I don't really have any shout outs per se this time, but I do want to say another thank you to all the fabulous people who participated in my 1 year anniversary video from last time. I was just like, that was so much fun. That was just so much fun. Getting a continuous stream of that kind of stuff from people over the span of a couple of weeks was like, before I even put it together, I was having so much fun. And like, just for everybody, I don't want to single anybody out, because like the fact that anybody did anything was just like overwhelmingly touching to me that people were willing to do that. But Chris and Jacob in particular went way overboard anything that I could have ever expected or even asked for. I was trying not to bother people. I wanted it to be fun, but I didn't want it to be an inconvenience, and they took it to a whole new level, which was fantastic. Like Jacob turns it into a whole film noir with a set, and he sent me a message, and he was talking about scripts and costume changes and edits and music, and I thought he was joking. He wasn't joking. Jacob doesn't do anything half-assed. Whenever Jacob does anything, his entire ass is there. He uses his whole ass every single time, no matter what he's doing, and that's very much appreciated. And Chris too, with the you know, all I asked Chris to do was to make fun of me a little bit, and he comes out with this thing that like must have taken him so much time and effort, and like made me laugh and made me cry. Actually made me laugh and cry. One of those, like, you know, like cliche things. You'll laugh, you'll cry. I laughed and I cried. The jerk made me cry. Thanks a lot, Chris. So anyway, one last thank you to everybody for doing that, and to everybody who I know would have done it if I would have asked you. It was spinning out of control, and I was running out of time. And to some of the people who wanted to do it and said that they wanted to do it and then missed their deadline. we won't name any names, but we know who you are. I appreciate the fact that you even wanted to do it, whether you did it or not. Like the fact that you said yes in the first place was all the touchiness that I needed. So thank you for that. It would have been great to have some more of you, but it was plenty. It was enough already, right? It was enough. It didn't have to be 2 hours long. I don't know what I'm going to do next year. People have already asked me, what are you going to do to top that next year? I don't know. I got nothing. I'm going to have to start working on it right now, I guess. I have no idea what I'm going to do next year, but we're not going to worry about that right now, because we're not going to worry about anything this year, because this is a do what you want, when you want, Chris it up kind of a year, right? Where's my hashtag? There it is. Let's Chris this fucker up. All right, should we get into the WIPs? Let's get into some WIPs. Do you know I have progress to show you today on 5 different things, and 4 of those 5 things are Jacob patterns. What the hell has happened to me? What happened to all my heaven and earths and all of my fancy full coverage things and all of my Alice things? And like 4 of my 5 things that I have to show today are Jacob things. Jacob has infiltrated my inbox. He's infiltrated my walls, my house, my evenings of stitching. He is taking over my life, and I'm sure soon he's going to be taking over my channel too. This won't even be my channel anymore. It'll be the Jacob channel. Look,
It has been a while. My apologies for not updating this.
So what should we do? It's been so long since I've done this. How do I introduce this? Should we sing a song? I feel like we should sing a song. Oh, I worked on so many things and most of them were Jacob's. Well, let's start with the one non-Jacob thing first, and that's this guy right here. Chessie. What did Chessie look like the last time I showed him to you? Let's take a look, shall we?
This is what Chessie looked like last time you saw it.
Darcy probably regrets asking me to do this.
And here's what Chessie looks like today. Look at that. That's pretty good, right? I mean, I know that's not like, you're not going to get any cat progress or anything that looks too significant other than this humongous tree trunk right here, but it's coming along. That's a pretty good chunk of progress too, considering all the things that I also did in the last little while. I'm quite happy I'm quite impressed with myself for that. Good job, Stitch, man. So this little chunk here is going to be, once that's done, that's the end of page 5. There's 15 pages in this pattern, 5 across the top, 5, and then in the middle here, 5 more. And then on the bottom strip down here, 5 more. See, 5, 10, 15. So this is going to be the end of page 5, and then I'll get to start back over here and get, like, you know, the middle peg, get his mouth and the rest of his body, and like that's going to be exciting. I will say that picking this back up again after working on my other things, my Jacob things for so long, which were on different fabrics and not full coverage and different styles and whatever, like picking this back up again really took a lot of getting used to. Like because I for the longest time did nothing but these, and so I was just so used to it that I didn't even really understand when people would be intimidated by them, or like it was hard to do, or whatever their reasons were. I didn't really understand what they were talking about because this is all I did. But when I went a month or two without doing this and then picked it back up again, it was really challenging to get used to it again. Everything's tighter. It's harder to squeeze the needle in between everything, and it's just so different. I mean, it didn't take that long to get used to it again, but I can see why, like, when you're not used to doing something like this, why, especially if you just pick it up once or twice, it's quite different stitching one of these than it is stitching anything else. Also, because so many of my other things that I've been working on lately are not on white Aida, even though I have gone on several rants over the last year about how white Aida is my thing and what difference does it make if it's full coverage. Might as well do it on white Aida. I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to hurt its feelings, but I don't particularly enjoy working on white Aida like I used to. Who am I even turning into? Like I was working on this thinking, like, even if I do another full coverage, maybe I'll start it on something other than white Aida because I just don't enjoy it like I used to. I'm getting too spoiled by other things, I guess, and I haven't even gotten into like the fancier things. I've just been using slightly different, looser, different colored fabrics, but I have been liking them better. So I don't know, my white Aida days might be getting to be a little bit numbered. So this little chunk here is going to be the end of page 5, which maybe I can do in the next couple of weeks. Maybe not. We'll see. I would love to be sitting here. I don't want to set like goals for myself and then like be disappointed if I don't achieve them. But I would love to be sitting here at the end of this year, holding this up down here at the end of page 10, finishing up page 10. That's ideally where I would like to be, because this is a present for Dylan, and if I can finish it not this coming Christmas but the Christmas after that, which, what year would that be? 2023? Christmas of 2023. If I can be done by then he'll have just turned 5, and I feel like that's still a good age where he'll kind of know, he already kind of knows what cross stitching is, but he'll have a better idea of it and like the work that goes into it, and still like a cartoony Cheshire Cat like this. And right now his absolute favorite colors are blue and purple. Maybe that'll continue for the next couple of years. Like, he'll still be young enough that he'll want a picture like this on his walls, old enough to appreciate it a little bit better. So I think age 5, if I can finish it by then, is a good goal to set. But again, if I don't get there, if I'm not down here on page 10 at the end of the year, I'm not going to berate myself and beat myself up for not doing it, because I don't do that anymore. I don't set goals for myself and then beat myself up for not achieving them, because that's not productive. That's destructive. That's not in keeping with the positivity and the happiness that we're all going to project into the universe in 2022, right? If I didn't get down here to page 10 by the end of this year, then that must mean the reason for that is because I was working on other things that also made me happy. So what's wrong with that? Why should I apologize for that? I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm going to stitch what I want, when I want, and I'm going to be happy about it. Because what are we doing this year? Do we need to say it again? Here's what we're doing. Right? I'm going to talk quickly about one other thing that I don't have actual progress on, but I almost worked on and then didn't, because I kind of wanted to save it for what I'm about to talk about and see what you guys think, get your opinions, and Melissa's opinion too, because I haven't run this past Melissa, and if she watches this and I see her reaction is either like, hey, yeah, that's a good idea, or like, no, don't do that, then that's probably going to be my answer. But tell me what you think about this one right here. Alice Descending. It's very small and is not going to take that long to do. I feel like this could quite easily be a finish this year, and even easier to finish if, here, look, I've only worked on it for one day so far, and then I haven't picked it up again. But I was thinking as I was about to pick this up that I've been seeing some people who have done these types of full coverage projects, but done them in tent stitch, like half stitches. And the coverage of that is still pretty good. They still look spectacular. And so I was half considering frogging all this, which I don't really want to do, but and restarting it and doing it in tent stitch instead of full crosses. What do you think about that? Because I was thinking that even if it's not completely like covered like the way that it is now, like with the great coverage. Even if you do see a little bit of the fabric in behind and it looks a little bit broken, this is Alice being sucked down the rabbit hole into this acid trippy psychedelic universe that is just, you know, like madness. So if she was broken up a little bit and looked kind of like, even if she did look like she was kind of in pieces, that might be sort of in keeping with what's going on in the picture. You know what I mean? Like it goes with the story. That's more thinking than I usually put into this kind of stuff, but I feel like that might actually fit it quite well, even if it does look a little bit jagged and broken. What do you think? Does anybody have any opinions on this? Because if everybody thinks that's a good idea, and I kind of think it's a good idea, then without even starting it, I'm already half finished. I'm half finished already. Isn't that exciting? All right, on to the Jacob things. Two of the things are actually finishes, so we'll take a look at those first. First, Fruits of Plenty, the 2021 SAL. This is going to be the last blast of the Kaylee Fruits of Plenty song that she sang for this last year. So for one last time, take it away.
Fruits of plenty. That's the stitch along from Jacob of modern folk embroidery. Stitchman Darcy. He is really going to catch up with this SAL. It's plain to see.
And here's what it looks like in all its finished glory. Isn't it gorgeous? I know you've been seeing this everywhere, but like, here, look at it again. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't even have room to stand up, but maybe I could back up a little bit. Yeah, look, that kind of works. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's awesome. What, is there anything else to say about it that hasn't already been said? Look, there's December. See? December. It's all done. I'm kind of jealous of the people that are stitching along with the Still Fresh Fruit SAL that are going to keep this alive for another year, which I'm glad. I'm glad that we're still gonna see this for another year and see people's progress on it, because I love it and I love seeing what people are doing with it. But I'm sad that I don't get to work on it too. Maybe I'll do it again. No, I'm not going to do it again. But I'm glad it's being kept alive, and it's gorgeous. Anybody who's just starting it or hasn't started and is going to, you're gonna love it. It's one of the best things, one of my favorite things that I've ever stitched. I don't know what else to say besides that, because it's just fantastic and I love it, and I need to get it framed. I'm starting to get a pile of finishes built up in my drawer over there, and I don't want to just like, okay, it's done, fold it up and throw it in the drawer and leave it there. I've got at least 4 things now that are sitting in that drawer. So 2022 needs to be, I need to make fully finishing a little bit of a priority. So hopefully stay tuned for that, sprinkled throughout the year, that some of these finishes are going to be pulled out of the drawer and framed, and I'll be able to show them actually finished. Next up was the winter border sampler that I started as a top secret gift for Melissa for Christmas. I don't have a theme song for it, but here's what it looked like the last time when I had just started it. Maybe I could sing something. Hang on a second. Oh, winter border sampler. This is what it looked like last time. Not quite the same as Kaylee. So, did I finish it? Did I finish it? Did I finish it? Did I finish it? Who do you think you're talking to?
You're a stitch man. You're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. You're a stitch man.
So I didn't actually finish it in time for Christmas. I had a really good chunk of it done, but I didn't finish it in time for Christmas. But it's finished now. Take a look. It's finished now. The middle part here, I need to leave room for a picture of Jacob's original thing here. the middle part here. Hello? Just a second. So this is what Jacob's original design looked like, right here. Right here. Star Command. Come in, Star Command. Why don't they answer? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So that's what Jacob's looked like with the alphabet in the middle. Melissa asked me if I could change that to say
Nolik Peel.
which means Merry Christmas in Gaelic, which is what I did. I changed it. I felt strange about doing that because I'm not really one to monkey around with somebody else's hard work and design that they, you know, the work that they put into their design, especially Jacob. As much as I thought that would look cool and I thought it was a good idea, I was a little nervous about how Jacob might react to that. But he reacted very positively to it. Whether he was just trying to make me feel better or not, I don't know. But he seemed very enthusiastic about, like, you know, it's not like I just, like, changed everything and like, well, that looked like shit, so I'm just gonna do my own thing there. I used his letters and it's all the same thing. I just made words out of it instead of an alphabet. I don't think that I don't think that that's that drastic of a thing that he would be that upset about it. And he seemed quite happy with it. So that made me feel a little bit better because I was fully prepared. If he didn't approve of this, I was just never going to mention it again. Pretend that, hey, whatever happened to that thing that you were doing for Melissa? What thing? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. But here it is, and I think it turned out fantastic, and it didn't take too long, and it says a really cool Gaelic thing in the middle.
Nolik Peel.
Yeah? See? And another one that I need to fully finish and get framed or whatever we're going to do with it. I don't want this to just sit in a drawer for however long. So this is going to be finished this year. I know it's not centered on the fabric here. That's because when I started it, I wasn't entirely sure what count this fabric was. And I know that I could have figured out what count it was quite easily by just measuring and counting. It would have taken me about 19 seconds. But I didn't want to bother. So I just figured whatever count it is, if I start here, that's probably plenty of space. I'll just go with that. So, and see, look, it did end up being plenty of space. I figured it's probably somewhere between 14 and 20. If I start here, no matter what it is, it'll be fine. So after that, had I had enough Jacob? Did I want to work on something else? Is it ever enough Jacob? Can anybody ever really have enough of Jacob?
Yeah, it has been a while. My apologies for not...
So I picked up Spirits of the Dead, and I started working on that again. I don't even know when the last time I showed that was, but if I can find it, let's take a look at what it looked like. Villains, I shrieked, dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here, here, it's the beating of his hideous heart. And here's what Spirits of the Dead looks like as of today. Look at that. Pretty good, right? Right. So at first glance, it kind of looks like that's a pretty good start, but like there's still a lot left, and there is a lot left, but not really. There's a lot left, but there's not really a lot left because if you look at, see if I can get out of the way here. If you look at the original full pattern here, I've got like flower pot or whatever the hell that is. I don't remember on this side and this side. But once those are done, like this main top part here, that's like the bulk of the actual, like, what is like a lot of stitching in this pattern. The rest of it is like, you know, scattered little things here and there. And then the whole thing of words down here with the border, like, you know, it's not insignificant. I'm not trying to say that, but like the main like bulk of stitching is here at the top. And this is like a really, really big chunk of it. So once I get these two things on the side here, I feel like I'm sort of like cruising to another finish in the very near future. I know it looks like it's just started, but I actually feel like I'm inching toward the home stretch to a finish on this. If I don't get distracted by too many other things, if I focus on this, even just the amount that I've been focusing on it with the other things that I've been doing, I feel like that this could be another Jacob finish in the very near future. I don't have enough already. I need more. More Jacob. More. And then one last Jacob WIP. When I finished Fruits of Plenty 2021 Stitch Along, I think I finished it on December 30th. Took one day off. And then it was January 1st, 2022, and a new stitch along started. And I jumped in on that one too. So here's what, I guess there's no like what it looked like last time. Here's what the picture looks like that Jacob has released so far anyway, because it's going to be a mystery. Mystery. And here's what we've got so far. Take a look at that. This has come with a lot of stress attached because Melissa and I are stitching this together for like, we're doing a, you know, like a disgustingly, adorably romantic, let's pick a thing, let's do it together. She'll stitch some of it, I'll stitch some of it. There's room here for like a first and last name, but my name's gonna go on one side and her name's gonna go on the other side, and we're gonna have a completed cross stitch that we both put work into, and is gonna be like a duet between the two of us. Isn't that just the most romantic thing you've ever heard? Is it? I don't know. But anyway, we settled on, first of all, I used the exact same oatmeal Ada that I used for Fruits of Plenty, because I thought if it worked once, it's going to work again, right? That wasn't a fluke. If it looked good the first time, it's going to look good the second time. And since we decided on that, we kind of wanted them to like go together and almost match, but maybe not match. Like we sort of considered using the exact same colors again, but I'm like, I don't know if we want to use the exact same colors. Something that would look good together, like if they're both hanging on the wall near each other, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. So we found this floss right here, which is variegated and kind of at first glance looked like the variegation was somewhat similar to the colors that I used for Fruits of Plenty. So we thought that it might go together well, and I do think it'll go together well. But we didn't really realize, although like you can tell by looking at the floss, I don't have it right in front of me, and I don't know if I want to get up and get it, but you can tell by looking at the floss that it's quite dramatically variegated. But I didn't even quite realize until we started doing it how dramatic, like even within one, you know, threading of the needle, it goes from really, really light to really, really dark very quickly. It's a bit dramatic, which I like. I do like it. And we're gonna continue that with the whole border, and we do really like it, right? Doesn't that look good? I think it looks good, but we weren't really sure if we wanted to have the entire thing be that dramatically. And it's also it's a lot more thinking than I'm used to. I'm not used to using this so much when I'm doing this, because like if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, it's so dramatic with the threads that like you could end up with a really big section that's super, super light, and then a really big section that's super, super dark. Like you have to really pay attention to, like I was going from skein to skein and changing my threads often, like to try to get it to be, you know, mixed up a little bit, instead of just like, this could have been all light and then this could have been all dark, which wasn't really what we kind of wanted it mixed up a little bit. So it's a little bit more thinking than we're used to, or more than I'm used to. But we weren't really sure if we wanted to continue that for the entire thing. Jacob suggested, oh my God, Maple is just banging on my door right now. Hang on. Dad, can I get in there? Dad, what are you doing in there? You making a video? Can I come see? Can I be in the video too? Dad, can you put me down now? Jacob suggested if we didn't want the variegation to be so dramatic, if we wanted to tone it down a little bit, to take one strand of this floss and mix it with one strand of a dark floss, like black or dark gray, and that'll tone it down a little bit. Which after he said that, we agreed that's what we were going to do. It sounded like a good idea. But then I kind of thought, especially when we get to the lighter parts, that as much as it might tone it down, I still feel like I'm going to see, like it's not going to blend. It's going to be like, you're going to see the strand of light and the strand of dark. You're going to see them both. It's not just going to like mix together. You know what I mean? That's what I was worried about anyway. So, man, talking is exhausting. I am like, this is my cardio for the day. Talking. I am out of breath right now. So we settled on choosing, we're gonna continue with this for the entire border, and I think that's gonna look really cool. but we thought maybe a solid color for the whole rest of it might be a little bit easier and maybe look a little bit better. It was really hard to choose something that kind of matched something in here, because it seems kind of like dark and light blue, but when I had a whole bunch of different flosses laid out as examples of what we might use. It's really more gray than blue, because the blues that we were holding up next to it didn't really go together nearly as well as the grays. It didn't seem like anyway. So anyway, long story short, even though it's already been a long story, I love people always say long story short after they've told a really long story. But we settle on, this is DMC 317, and it kind of matches the mid-range color here, and we thought looked better than any of the other ones that we laid out to go along with it. And I'm really just losing my train of thought here, but that's what we're going with. We're going with a super variegated, shiny looking, crazy border. We're going with DMC 317 for the entire rest of it. And I think it's going to look quite good. And some of it is going to be stitched by me, and some of it is going to be stitched by Melissa, and both of our names are going to be on it. And it's going to be the most disgustingly cutest romantic thing that you've ever seen in your life. We have both contributed to this border. Melissa did most of this bird house thingy, and I finished off the birds last night and the bottom of the thing here. It's a duet. It's a duet, and it's romantic, and it's adorable, and it's a stitch along, and it's Jacob, and that's all I have to say about that at the moment. And look. It's Maple. Look, she's licking herself. Lick, 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 lick. So that's it for now for the WIPs. One more thing I want to talk about before we say goodbye for now is some of the stitchy kindness that I received over the holidays. I got it like, and I'm gonna, I've thanked you, and I'm gonna thank you again for the people. And sorry if I missed anybody. I mean, maybe I didn't thank everybody. For I got some really nice Christmas cards, and a couple of like small gifts, and like people are just so nice. That's one of the other things about the like putting the positivity out into the world that I need to do. I've been starting to compile a list of names and addresses of people that I like. I'm going to reciprocate. I get like, people are too nice to me, and I got to send some of this niceness back into the world. And then I don't. I have a couple of times I actually have, and I feel really good about it, but I need to do more of that this year. So look out for, and especially if I've already asked you for your address and you think that I have it, I probably lost it, and I might ask you again. But anyway, not the point. Thank you to all the people that sent me such nice things and such nice cards. But I got two things that I really want to show, because they seem like a lot of work, and they're gorgeous. And I almost completely ruined one of them, and I feel like a total asshole. Project bags. I got two handmade project bags from two different people. So, and I almost destroyed one of them, and I feel like an asshole. So let's get into that, because don't we love when I feel like an asshole? People made me project bags, and I almost destroyed one of them. First up, a lovely lady named Kaylee, who has a shop called The Sewing Shop, and I'll put all of her information down below. You should check out her stuff, because she does awesome things. She sent me this gorgeous thing. Look at this. Just take a look. Take a look. Can't you see? Oh, I have to hold it up first. Look at this. It's beer. Isn't this awesome? Doesn't that just scream Stitch Man with all the drunkenness and the, bagginess of the, I don't know. It's awesome though. It's big, it's soft, it's thick, it's hefty. It's got a lot of heft to it. Heft, I like heft. It's hefty, it's solid, it's got beer all over it. It's currently housing, you can see some of I've got my headphones in there too, but this is what I'm currently housing Spirits of the Dead in here, but it's big enough to hold my Heaven and Earths too. Like Chessie fits in here when he's in the Q-snap anyway. So like I like this is never gonna be empty. There's always gonna be something in here. It's gorgeous. I love it. I wish I knew what else to say, but like I don't know much about sewing and making things other than like it just looks awesome. I love the beer. I love the fabric. I love the zipper. I love keeping my stuff in a bag. That's another thing that, like, you know, early on I used to say, like, who would ever need a needle minder? And now I want all the needle minders. Same with the bags. I was like, who would ever need it? What would I need a bag for? But when you've got multiple stuff and multiple WIPs and like they get like all over the place or whatever, having a bag is fantastic, especially when I have like, you know, some, like I've got this little hard drive with some TV shows or whatever on it, and I've got my headphones and stuff that I like to have while I'm stitching. I can put them all in the bag. I put them all in the bag, and then all my stuff is just in the bag. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And onto the one that I almost ruined, and I feel absolutely horrible about. I didn't ruin it. It's still perfect. It's perfect in every way. A friend of mine that I've made friends with on Instagram, her name's Jenny. On Instagram, she's Jenny's Crafting Blog. Some of you might know her. I'll put her information below too if you want to check her out and follow her. I don't know if she wants that or not, but I don't know. Maybe I should ask her first. She made me look at this. Now take a look at this. Now look, just look. It is the two things that, like, what two things define me that if you just think of Stitch Man, what are the first two things that come to mind? Beer, obviously. We gotta have some beer. And beer on one side, Beatles on the other side. Isn't that the most gorgeous thing? I was just like, when I opened this, I was hang on. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. I didn't even know I didn't know she was doing this. I didn't know, like, this was just a complete shock. I still am kind of speechless. It's just beyond anything that I could have imagined. Beetles and beer, and it's big and it's perfect. And she threw in another tiny little pair of scissors, which I don't have here. This Beetles needle minder that I'm using for the Jacob Sal, that was in there too. Look, it's a beetle minder. It's not just a needle minder, it's a beetle minder. It's just perfect. It's perfect. I love it. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you, Stitch Man? I thought you said you almost ruined it. Well, if you look really closely, which maybe you shouldn't do. Maybe I should just leave it here and just leave it at that. Look, it's perfect. It's perfect in every way, and I completely didn't ruin it at all. The end. So what I did was I left this. I had it folded in half, thusly. Plastic touching plastic, and I had it very stupidly placed in a place where if somebody or some sort of creature, such as this one right here, who I don't blame, by the way, I do not blame my princess for this, I blame myself for this, but were some creature to come along and knock it off, it was going to fall onto a baseboard heater, which was currently turned on. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened. And before I noticed that that's what happened, I sort of just walked by and went, "Oh my God, where'd my project bag go? You didn't actually do that, did you, Mabel? Did you actually do that?" And I looked down, and there she was. She was sitting up there where the thing was, and there this was sitting on the heater. Thank goodness it didn't catch on fire, but it did melt a little bit, and it warped, and the plastic was stuck together. And when I tried to pull it apart as, like, you know, nicely as I could, I ripped a little hole in it, and the flap is right. It's like a puzzle piece. If I could get that off and get that back on there somehow, it's like that's the best I could do to salvage it. And it's a little bit like it was a lot smoother than this. I tried to iron it, but I feel like that, like I abandoned that quite quickly because I thought, like, I'm making it worse right now. There was heat that caused this problem in the first place. Maybe I shouldn't be ironing it. But it was a little bit smoother than this. Like, it was, you know, it was a perfectly made bag, and it still is. It still absolutely is. But my stupidity, leaving it over top of a heater and letting it melt, warped it a little bit. But that doesn't prevent me from loving it. Doesn't prevent me from using it. It's currently housing the Oh, look, there's the thread right there. The Jacob 2022 stitch along. So I'll be using this all year long, and when that's done, I'll be using it for something else. I love it. I'm never going to not be using this. I absolutely love it. I apologize for, you know, not taking better care of something that is so special. But there it is. It's gorgeous. I love it. I'm sorry I almost melted it, but I love it. I love it. 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 People made me project bags and I almost destroyed one of them. So I think that's it for today. I'm going to try really hard to get back on a normal, regular schedule because I miss it too much when I go this long in between. And now I have a space where even if I've got a house full of creatures running around, it's quiet and nobody can get in, and I can't use that as an excuse anymore. So I'm going to try to get back on a little bit more of a frequent schedule. I'm hesitant to try to declare what my plans are for the next couple of weeks because I don't want to say this is what I'm going to do and then not do it and then feel guilty about it because that's not what we do. That's not our philosophy of 2022. I can tell you sitting here right now what I feel like doing. But if that's not what I end up doing, then the reason for that is because I did something else that I wanted to be doing. And what's wrong with that? Why should we feel like we need to apologize for doing something else that we wanted to be doing? If it's what we wanted to be doing, then that's what we should be doing. I am completely done and over working on things because I feel obligated or I feel guilty about like it's been sitting there for so long, like as if it has human emotions and it misses me or something like that. It's a piece of fabric and it doesn't have those kind of feelings. I have those kind of feelings that I project onto it, and I am not going to do that anymore because that is not in keeping with the new philosophy of a happiness rebound season, positivity 2022, right? We do what we want, when we want, what makes us happy, and that is it, right? Right. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all the lovely messages you send me. Thanks for checking up on me to make sure that I'm all right. I'll see you again in hopefully no more than 2 weeks. What?
Nolik real. Nolik real. Nolik real.